Hi, I'm Captain John Kaiser, and in this video we're going to learn how to cut plug a herring. I'm going to show you two different methods. We're going to do a cut plug herring, which show you how to do a nice tight roll on it, and we're also going to do a whole herring, so you'll give you two versions to fish. So let's go ahead and get out in the boat and get started, and I'll show you how that works. Okay, when we're doing a cut plug herring here, we're going to do a standard Westport setup here, and then we'll take a look at it in the water. But when you get your herring, you use fresh herring, you want to look and make sure the scales are still attached. You want to have good scales. So if you got herring, whether it's frozen or not, and it doesn't have scales on it, that's not a good thing. You want scales, you want the eyes to be cleared. There shouldn't be any red around here at all. The herring should be firm. As you can see, it's in good shape. This is a nice fresh herring, whether you jig it yourself or you buy it fresh. And even your frozen herring, you want to look. It should have, the eyes should be clear. There shouldn't be any frostbite on it, and you should have good coloring. That way it reflects in the light. You can see that dark and silver line there. So now to do a cut plug herring, I like to use a bait knife. I use just a small surgical bait knife. It makes it nice for cutting this on the cutting board. And what I'll do is I'm going to do two angles at the same time. I'm going to cut a 45 and I'm going to cut a 45 the other direction. So I'm going to have an angle this way and I'm going to have an angle down. So not only am I cutting 45 this way, I'm going to turn it and cut it this way. And when I cut the herring for a cut plug, I want to cut it in one shot. I want to make one slice through it, because if I do the saw motion on it, what ends up happening is you leave a lot of little ends in there that can fray out on you when it's in the water. So by doing one motion on it, making one cut at a 45-45, you're going to get a good clean herring, and it's going to work a lot better in the water. Let's go ahead and do one here. So I'm going to hold this down, line up to a 45-45, and I made one cut. So I got that the head separated from the body, and you'll notice that I now have a 45-degree angle this way, and I have a 45-degree angle looking down on the herring this way. And the edges are real clean. Look at that nice clean edge here. There's no fraying, there's no bone sticking out. Looks real nice. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and take the innards out. Just push on the stomach a little bit and they'll come right out. Get those off to the side. Now this herring is ready to go. We can go ahead and cut plug this. So we're going to do a quick Westport setup today. Very easy to do. One of the easiest, one of the most what I like to use on these herrings, particularly the smaller ones, is the Mustad fine wire hooks. This is a 92604N 5/0 size, and what you'll find is they're very strong, but they're very thin. If you look at the hooks themselves, they're very narrow, so they go through the body of the herring without tearing it up. And this is just 20-pound leader material on here, nice clear leader material. So to go ahead and do my cut plug, all I'm going to do is take the first hook, and if you look on this herring, you'll see there's a lateral line between the light and the dark. What I'm going to do is insert this hook through the body of the herring, through the cavity, and just come up right on that lateral line, and then just work that hook through. So I'm going to pull that through so it's sitting down here on the side. Now it's laying down here on the side of the herring. I'm going to take the top hook and come in just on the side of the backbone right here. Come in right on that side, bring it out the top so it sticks out. And it's sitting right here on the edge on the top right here. It's just a standard Westport cut plug herring. When it's in the water, you should have a real tight spin. The best thing I can tell you about this is you don't want it to wobble. What you're not looking for is the tail to do this. You don't want a wobble of the herring in the water. What you want is a tight spin. This thing should be turning over very tight, like a drill bit, not like a plate, you know, going like this. Just look, nice tight spin. So let's go ahead. I'll put her in the water now. You can take a quick look at it. Okay, as you can see, this cut plug herring in the water, it's got a nice tight spin to it. And when I say tight, I mean it doesn't have any wobble. So what I'm looking for is a spin like a drill bit. So I don't want a lot of wobble, and I want it to just turn really tight and really quick. And that's the perfect cut for a cut plug herring. So if you don't have that spin on it, and it's not tight, or if it's got a big wobble on it, take it out and recut it and redo it again, because it's not going to fish correctly. Okay, I'm going to start with your herring here. It's in good shape. As you can see, we got good color in it, lots of scales, eyes clear, there's no red on it. It's going to make a good bait. I'm going to insert the hook right in front of the eyes here in the bridge of the nose of the herring. So I bring that through. Now I'm going to go ahead and just work that hook through there. You have to twist it just a little bit to get it through, and then just give it a little pull, and the second hook will follow it right through. So now I have both hooks through the same hole. I'm going to take the top hook again and just repeat the process. I'm going to go right through the same hole one more time. There it is. You can feel it. Oops, Drop that one back out. Feel it. Go ahead, pull it back through again. The second hook will follow it through. Just like that. And I've created a loop. So if you'll notice now, I have a little loop right up front here. That's an important part of this whole setup. The next thing I'm going to do before I do anything with the loop is I'm just going to come up here on the lateral line and insert a hook right along the lateral line right here, the top hook of the setup. Just bring it back around, lay it down. Now I can go ahead and pull this slowly tight. And what's going to happen is it's going to pull that knot down right on top of that herring. See it right here. There's the knot, and it's going to hold his mouth shut. So right there, now I have his mouth pinched shut, and I have a hook sitting right here. So that's going to keep his mouth shut, and it's also going to form a little kink in him. If you'll notice when I pull on this, there's a little kink in the head. I'm going to take the other hook and just bring it over to the other side, the back hook, and just lay it along the side of the body here. Do exactly the same thing. Just bring it around and lay it in there. So I have a hook there and a hook here. A little kink in the head. That herring is going to spin quite well in the water, and it's going to hold up for a long time because the mouth's going to remain closed because of that little loop on there. So this is a good, quick way to fish a whole herring. Lasts quite a while in the water. You can pull it behind a flasher, or you can just pull it by itself if you want to fish just a bait by itself. Let's go ahead and put it in the water and take a look at it, and you can see how it's supposed to spin. Okay, now we'll put this whole herring in the water, and if you notice, it's got that little kink in it. Notice how it's got a nice spin. Doesn't take a lot of speed to get it to work either, so it's a great lure for big kings. It can be fished behind a flasher, or it could just be fished by itself. Excellent lure. It's one of my favorites to tow behind a diver and get it in the water, and notice that nice tight spin on it. That's the whole key to a herring. It's got to have a tight spin like a drill bit.